welcome to Ekidel. My name is Justice Mwaka. I am your instructor. Today, I'll be showing you how to detail this kind of slab right here using AutoCAD software. So by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to manually draft or detail a reinforced concrete slab and also cut a section detail just like this. As you can see it here, this is the section detail of this slab right here. This is section AA cutting through this point. As you can see the section here. So by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to detail a reinforced concrete slab just like this. So I will say you should sit tight and watch, and if at all you don't have time to watch it now, I will say you should subscribe to my channel Ekidel so that you will not miss this video, so they can watch it at your own time. Okay, so let's get started. Hello, welcome to Ekidel. My name is Justice Mwaka. I am your instructor. Today we will be learning how to detail a cross section of a reinforced concrete slab. Looking at this right now, this is a well detailed reinforced concrete slab using AutoCAD. The version of AutoCAD I'm using is AutoCAD 2023, and also it is also a registered version, which you can see here, Mwaka. Like I said, my name is Justice Mwaka. So this is AutoCAD 2023 and it's also a registered version. So looking at this right now, this is a slab reinforcement detail, and looking at this up here, this is a cross section. But looking at this cross section, it is not well detailed. So today I'm going to show you how to detail this cross section of this concrete slab right here. Now, if you want to know how to detail a reinforced concrete slab, you can check our videos, our previous videos. We have done a lot of videos on how to detail a reinforced concrete slab. But also in my coming video, I will also do more videos on how to detail reinforced concrete slab. But for today, this is just to show you how to detail a cross-sectional detail of a reinforced concrete slab. So I would say you subscribe to my channel, also drop a comment down below, and also share this video to your friends and family so they can also know how to use AutoCAD on to detail reinforcement drawing for a concrete structure. Okay, so let's get started right now. So looking at this cross section right now, this is section AA, which is also in this environment. Now looking at, we cut this section from this region all the way from here to this point. So we cut through this slab, and then we now displayed the cross section just here, right here, where this is a parapet. This is a roof actually. This is a roof slab actually. So this is a parapet, as you can see it right here. This is the parapet that you are seeing here. This parapet is this wall that you're seeing here, and this beam, as you can see it here, this beam right here is this beam, is this beam which we just cut through, and this beam right here is this beam which we also cut, which the section line cut through, and this beam right here is this beam, right here. Then also this beam right here is this beam right here, and also this beam right here is this beam right here, and also this beam is this beam, and this parapet wall is this parapet wall. So you can see that we have successfully shown all all the all the members that this cross-sectional line cuts through, which we have shown it here also. So now let's begin to place our reinforcement on this section detail right here. So this building has already been designed structurally, and you can see the spacing of the reinforcement that it is 200 millimeter, and also we are using a diameter of T10, which is high yield steel, And also the concrete cover for this slab is 25 millimeter. So the first thing you do is to offset your concrete cover top and bottom. So I will use shortcut O for to offset. I will be using more of shortcuts to perform this detailing right here. So you just type O and enter, then type 25 and enter. Then I'll offset this down and offset this up. So right now, knowing that what we have just created right now is the top reinforcement and the bottom reinforcement. So we will now have to match it. So I will use match properties, MA, enter, then use this, which symbolizes reinforcement, and then match it to this property and to this property. So we have just created the top reinforcement. So I'll quickly just extend this, picking up from here and on my snap, then stretch this out. Now you can see what we have achieved just here. So I'll also again offset 25 millimeter, which is the concrete cover for this parapet, and also on this area too, and then also on top of this place too. And then I will just trim off this place because we don't need this extension, and I'll delete this. Now match properties to get this right, and these two. Then what I'll do next right now is to offset, is to extend this to this point of concrete cover, and then I will have to trim off this right here. So the next thing right now I'll do right now is to also extend this a bit, extend this to this point, and then bring this down to this point, then offset. The diameter of this rod, as we have seen here, is 10 10 millimeter. So I'll quickly go back here and offset 10 millimeter downward, and then I will now extend this to 10 millimeter downward, and then I will also extend this to 10 millimeter, which is 10, and the same thing goes to this one. I will extend this, I will offset this again to 10 millimeter, and then bring this back to this 10 millimeter. And next thing I'll do right now is to impute, is to first of all delete this, what did this do right now. Next thing I'll do is to input my lap length. My lap length, sorry, let us just activate this rebar layer right here so that we will not have to use match properties anymore. So I'll use line and input my lap length. The lap length is always 50 times the diameter of bar. So 50 times our diameter of bar, which is 10, is equals to 500. So our lap length now becomes 500. So I'll quickly go on and type 500 just now. And then I'll also go here and type 500 just now and enter. Now you can see the level of our lap length right here. Then also we know that now you can see that this parapet reinforcement comes down to this place and anchor inside this slab, and also this also comes down from here and anchor inside this slab also. Then this top reinforcement for this slab right now, we also go in and then also anchor inside this parapet to bring firmness. So we also lap this by 500, and then you can see what is happening here is already more than that. So we have to take half of it. So just go half, or we say 200. We go first for 250, then now reduce by 50. Okay, so the next thing again we'll do is to start placing. Okay, so we go again to the all the way down here. We go all the way down to this point, and then since what we have here is the same thing that we will have here, so the first thing we'll do before I apply my mirror, next thing I'll do is to create my reinforcement for this. So look at what we have just achieved right now. If this sectional line cuts through this reinforcement, you can see that the only reinforcement that will be affected is this. This one will be affected because you can see it cut to the reinforcement. This and this one runs all the way from this point. You can see the bulb from this point down to this point. And also this runs all the way from this point. This one here runs from this point down to this point. So you can see that when this sectional line this cuts through this, you can see that the only one that is being affected is this reinforcement, which we show as a dot, as a dot right here. Then this reinforcement is not affected because if this sectional line cuts through this place, as you can see right now, looking in this direction, as you can see the arrow, you will see this reinforcement in full and you will see this reinforcement in full. That is why that is why we are seeing these two reinforcements as it is right here, both which is the bottom and the top. Although the top we will have to place our curtailment because there is a rule of taking 25% off for the top reinforcement. But so let's go and do that right now. So looking at this right now, we all know that from the rule, we have to take 25% off. So we go for the top bar, we first of all measure this place and we have 3100 millimeter. So we will take 25% of this for the top reinforcement. So we do 3100 multiplied by 0.25, which is 25% of the span. So we take this to 775 millimeter. So what we do right now is to click on offset 775 and offset this left and right. Then we'll now select this and have to now trim off this. So you can now see what we have got. So the same thing happens to this place. We check the span of this. You can see that this is 1.5. We have to take 25% of the 1.5 multiplied by 0.25, which is equals to 375. So we offset and say 375, and then we take this off and then take this off, then click on this and then take this off and delete this immediately. So you can now see that this is our top reinforcement. So the same thing goes for this right now. We check this distance, which is already given here. Okay, let's just take it back, which is 3600. So we take 25% of that, 3600 times 0.25, which is 900. So we click on this and say 900 offset this and offset this. Then we select this to trim off this top bar. We can see that we have gotten our top bar on this area. So we go again to check this. This is 3900. If you confirm that, you will also see that this is 3900. So we go again and then say 3900 times 0.25. Then we have 975. So we offset 975, offset left and right and right. Then we select these two together and trim off this, and then we just delete this. Then we go again. This is 5000. Let's confirm that if it's true. So this span length is 5000. So we take 25% of that 5000. So the 0.25, and this is 1250. Remember, I am using millimeter. So 1250. So I would say, okay, take this left and right, and then take this also, select this, and then trim of this and do this and then do this and then we go again. This is 1750. So let's confirm that if it's true. 1750. So we do this 1750 multiplied by 0.25, and then we get for, let's just copy this right now so we don't just forget what we have got. So we do this, just type this and minus and then do this and then enter. Then we'll just do this right now. Okay, so We now select these two together and then trim off this SX and then do this. So this now remains because we cannot do that right here. So this remains because this will just anchor straight up. All this way is their auto bar. So right now you can see what we have got. This bottom bar, we don't cut it because bottom bar remains stretched. This this principle does not apply to bottom bar. It only applies to top bar. So you can see what we now have on our top bar. The next thing right now to do is to start creating this other reinforcement, which is the bottom reinforcement on the other direction. No, what we have just created, this is just the distribution. So we have to now create the main reinforcement, which will now start showing as a bulb. So the next thing we'll do right now is to create a cycle for that. And remember that the size of our reinforcement is 10 millimeter. So we just create a cycle, see enter, and then type 10 and type the radius, which is 5, right? Yeah, that will be so small. You can see it there. So we just escape and then click on circle again. Click and let me say 10 millimeter. Okay, this is also okay. Now we will have to hash this internal circle right now. So click on H, enter, and then I click on this point to hash and then say okay. Now if I copy this right now to see how it will look like here, if it will be visible when we have printed. So if I copy this right now, let me see if it will be visible. Okay, I think it's visible. So I'll just delete this and then come back to um I'll have to block this. So I'll click on this and block it. So blocking this, I'll just say rebar, by the way, rebar, and I'll say enter. I'll say okay, sorry. Then next thing I'll do right now is to copy this first to bring this closer to this place before we start placing. So to place this right now, the next thing we'll do right now to place this is to first of all place this at the first. Looking at this right now, that this is the reinforcement that let me change this color so that you know the reinforcement that we are trying to place. So this is the reinforcement that we are trying. Let me change it to blue. Okay, this is the reinforcement that we are trying to place right now. We are trying to start placing this reinforcement because this sectional line cuts through this area and it affected this reinforcement. So we will see this reinforcement as a dot and not as a full length. So right now we start placing that, and this reinforcement is running. All you can see that is running all the way from this point down to this point. To this point, you can see that. So invariably, this one is running all throughout this slab. So we go right here on this place right now to start placing that. So we click on this, copy from this end, not from middle, from this end, and then go through just directly on this point and then place it place it, do construction line vertical, and then to make sure that this flush directly on this place. Okay, so we can now remove this construction line. So you can see what happens here. So with this now have to go up to flush directly on the top of this, and then this call for us to trim off this place right here. Okay, you can see that. If you want, you can give a little space. So you can give a little space to it, then delete of this place. Okay, so you can see what we now have. Now, looking at so with this, you can now delete off this right now and leaving this to use this for our copying reference. So looking at this, the spacing is 200 millimeter, and you can see they have a uniform spacing both the top and the bottom, and also we have also a uniform spacing right here both the top and the bottom. So we'll have to now start using that space to create the rest bottom reinforcement, which is the main reinforcement. This is the distribution and this is the main. So we have to now select this and then click on or we can also use another way, just changing the this Let me just change this to a color okay, I would like, okay, green. And then what I would now do is to place my construction line on this point and then offset my spacing, which is 200. You can see it here. The spacing of this reinforcement we are about to offset is 200 millimeter. And also looking at this, also this is also 200 millimeter. So right now we go here and hold our offset and type 200 and say enter, and then we begin to offset. On this point, this is where we will now copy and be placing this dot reinforcement. So we go start um and start doing that all the way. We do the same for this. We do the same for this and for this and for this. So we will just do the same. I will not do more of this because I will use a cheat. If I do all this, it will take a lot of time. So I will just stop on this place, then use another method to copy the reinforcement all the way down to this point. So what I'll do right now, I'll now have to copy this right now. So copy this right now. I'll just copy from this point and on my auto to keep the line straight, and then I will start pasting directly on this point. You can see what I'm doing right here. Start pasting directly on this point. Okay, so I will say you should subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel, Ekidel, so that if you have not subscribed, subscribe. And I will also say you should share to your friends. If you're a student, share to your colleagues and share to your friends. Then also, okay, so we place this also on the all these points. I'll say if you think I'm not doing it right, I will say you should leave a comment. I'll be glad to see your comments. And if you think if there's any way to improve, I will also say you should drop a comment right there. So I will not delete this. You can see what we have now got. So with this right now, I will just select this region and then use copy, CO, and copy from this point, center point, and to this point. Now you can now see the cheat. How you can now see the cheat, right? You can see what I'm doing right now. Instead of offsetting those lines one for the other, you can see what we are doing right here. Okay, so we are almost done. We go here and then we have to now escape, then place one directly on this point, still holding back our vertical line to make sure it is on this point, and then we go all the way down here. Now we delete this. And if you look at this spacing, I know it will not be 200 because this is 201. Yes, it's because we always add one to we because no when you divide a value. Like now, if you look at this right now, this is giving us 10. You can see there. But if you measure this right now, which is 2045, 2045 right now, and divide this by the spacing, you can see 2045 divided by our spacing 200 and then equals to this is giving us 10. Okay, this is okay. But if you look at this other one here, okay, this one, let's go on this. If you look at this other one here right now, checking on these points right now, this is giving us 2835. If you check on this 2835 divided by 200, this is giving us 14. So we added plus 1 so that we will not run shortage of reinforcement. So it is now you can see now this is now 15. So it is because of that is why we are having at this last point we are having a difference of 11 millimeter because of that approximation that we did. But if you check all other ones, they are giving you 200 because that was what we used. You can check again from midpoint to midpoint, you can see it's 200. So you can see that if you also check at anywhere from this point, let me check this from this point, sorry, to this point, you can see 200. Check again from anywhere from this point, you can see also that this will be 200. So you can see that. So we have successfully created this reinforcement, these two reinforcement. Now the next thing right now to do is to place our top reinforcement. Now if this if this cutting line cuts through this place right now, you can see that it will also affect this top reinforcement. So because of this right now, this top, we will also place that dot again at the top side, which is this, because this is just this is the distribution. So we will now have to provide the main reinforcement for this top. Now, looking at this right now, you can see that if this cuts through right now, what we are going to see is that this reinforcement will be at this place, because this is the top reinforcement. This is the top reinforcement. So this is what we are going to have right now. So the same thing we did here, the same thing we'll do here. So we copy this reinforcement because they are of the same size and paste on this place. Then use construction line to align the reinforcement on this point. You can see what I'm doing right here. Okay, it's already aligned. Okay, that's fine. So we delete this back using E, and then we will now have to shift this down. You can see what I'm doing. Shift this down and then stretch this, extend this just now. Okay, so then what we'll now do right now is to use construction line to now start offsetting, which is 200 our spacing, 200 millimeter our spacing, and then clicking on this and begin to offset and offset and offset and offset and offset and offset and offset this and offset this. And then if you now start to copy this right now, you can now copy this right now all the way from center point from here and pasting this here, and pasting this here and pasting this all the way down here. You can now see what we are getting. Pasting this all the way down, pasting this all the way down, and then we can shift this off from this a little. Okay, and then we remove this one first, and then extend this to meet up this point right here. Okay, so right now you can see what we have got. Then we copy this right now and place it directly on this point. Use construction line to align the points right here. So we go this and then do this. Okay. The next thing right now is to do is to delete this, by the way. So you can now see what we have got. The same thing goes to this point. So we use construction line to align this point, then copy this right now, copy this point, and then going all the way down here and going this way right here, deleting this. Okay, then now we will now have to start copying this also. Looking at the spacing of the top bar, looking at this top bar right here, this is the top bar that we are dealing with. Let me just change the color to um, red so that I can know the one that we are working with. So we are working with this top bar right now. We want to start placing this top bar right here all the way. So when this cross-sectional this thing line cuts this place, it will affect this top bar and it will make this top bar to be showing as dots under this place. So now the we now have the main top bar, and this is when we also have the distribution bar, which is this. Now the next thing right now to do is to start copying it and looking at the spacing of this top bar right here, that this spacing of this top bar is 200 millimeter. So we go right now and start pasting this all the way right there. So we take our construction line XLV vertical and then place on this point and then offset 200 millimeter, and then offset this. We and begin to offset this and this and this and this. So we just place the last one here because it cannot go. So we then copy this point from the midpoint here and begin to paste this all the way around here. So we paste this here and we paste this here and we paste this here, and then we delete this line of construction line. So we have successfully achieved the stop bar right on this place, right, which is this running all the way down here. And this stop bar you're seeing here, this stop bar you're seeing right here is this stop bar that you are seeing here. This is stop bar right now. Why this dotted one right here, all these dotted ones here is all these dotted ones. Let me copy the last. Okay, this dotted top bar here is this one right here, because this one runs from this point, you can see the arrow, all the way to this last point. That's why it's showing 101 number of T10 having a back of 04 or at 200 millimeter top. Okay, so again we go to this next one here, which is okay. So there is no top bar on this place, so there is this top bar is not supposed to be there, because there is no top bar on this. There is no support on this region. If you trace this value down using construction line, if you trace it down, you will see that we do not have any of that right here. We don't have that right here. You can see that we don't have that. We don't have this right here. You can see that we don't have this. So there is no support on this point. So we will have to remove that support right here. So this will go off. This will also go off. This will go off. Then we'll extend this to this point, and then we'll remove this. Remove all this. Remove this. Use J to join these two together. So use J, click on these two to join them together, and then select this and trim this hash. Okay, trim this hash also. Okay, then the next place we have top bar is at this point, which is this point. So this top bar right now is this top bar that you're seeing right now. So we will now have to provide the main reinforcement for the top bar, which is just like this. So we also, which is also running through this support. You can see this top bar is running all the way to this support. So we have to provide that right now. So we also use construction line V, align this point on this area, copy one of these dots, since they are the same reinforcement sizes, please paste it here and then bring it down, this point, bring it down here, and then remove this construction line, create another construction line again, and put it at the midpoint using the spacing of 200, which is from the design report, going all the way down. If I let me show you the design report, or maybe after now I'll show you the design report. So we go again all the way down to paste, to extend this, copy these lines so they can paste the main top bar reinforcement, this and this. Okay, so we go now and start pasting this reinforcement all the way down. Now we copy this it here and paste it here, and then we paste it here and here, and also this point, and this point, and this point, and then we go again this point, and then we have to now paste it also here. Then we have to align this point right now, because we can't leave this space vacant. So even if it is not up to that spacing, we just paste it here. Or another way you would do it again, if the spacing is not too wide, okay, we can remove this right now and move this down onto this place right here. Okay, but our advice is just you just paste a new one to maintain the spacing. It is better you maintain what is given to you from the design than to go excess. So this is what we will now have right now. Next thing we'll do is to do the same for this. So we go again XL vertical, which is this, to base to this point, and click on this, um using copy command, and then pasting it here and bringing it down to align, to flush with this, distribution bar. So flushing with this right now, then removing this construction line, creating a new one, V, enter vertical to then now offset 200 millimeter and begin to offset 200 millimeter all the way down, all the way down, and all the way down, and all the way down. I will show you another shortcut to how to paste these top bars so that we don't repeat all these steps later again. So let's just pass through this last stage so that I can show you the final cheats on how to do that. So copy this right now. What matters when you're doing your drafting is the speed. So any kind of trick, any kind of cheat that you think you will use that will make the work to be fast, I would say you should employ it. So we paste this right now. So I'm going to employ one cheat right now, one trick that will make this detailing very fast. Let me first of all delete this around now. So the cheat right there is that I'll just copy this top bar, knowing that they have the same spacing and they are the same reinforcement, but I will not have to copy from this point and then go all the way down to this top bar right now and paste on this point. Then look at the SS here. You can see the SS right now. Remove this excessive one. You can see what we have got just now. So the same thing goes for the next again. I'll copy this top bar, um copy from this point, you can see it here, and go and paste it at this point right now. You can see that our spacing still remains 200. You can see that it still remains 200. This or this to this still remains 200, and this to this still remains 200. So you can see the cheat. You can now remove this excess right here. This is going excess. You go back and flush it all the way down with this. So we flush it all the way down with this. Okay, so you can see that this is also flushed. You can see that it's flushed right there. Okay, so we go and remove this construction line. Then the next thing right now to do, we have successfully detailed our slab. You can see that having our main reinforcement for the top and also having our distribution reinforcement for the top and all the way down for all the top, they are all the same. Also, we also have for the bottom reinforcement, we have our distribution bar and we have our main reinforcement. Okay, so the next thing right now to do right now is to detail this parapet right here, this parapet wall or beam right here. So this is a parapet beam, not wall. So doing this parapet beam right now, what we'll do right now is to, from this point right now, we will have to offset 200. So from this point right now, we offset 200 because they are the same spacing. We offset 200 and then we offset again 200 again. And then the last part will be on this place. So just bring this down to flush on this point. So we will now have to copy this right away. We copy this from this point and paste it all the way down here at midpoint, and also paste this again here and also paste this here to make sure that this flush, this is not okay, this is not okay. So I remove that and then copy it back and then copy from this point right here and then paste it all the way down here to make sure that this must have to flush, this must have to flush. I'll use construction line vertical or so horizontal and bring this down right away down here. So if you measure this right now, you can see that the concrete cover is still maintained as 25 millimeter. So we cannot delete this right now and also delete this right now and delete this right now. And then also we will also delete this right here. So right now you can see that we will also have to um, uh, uh, copy this down by 200, which is 200. If I do this right now, you see that it's going to flush on this point, but the main idea is just to paste this point at this point because this is for the slab and this is for the wall. So you can see what we have just gotten right now. This is for the slab and this is for the slab and this is for the wall. So just to not to cause confusion, you can just raise it up a bit, raise it up a bit. Okay, so that's okay. The next thing again to do is to also put this member, or this is the member, to put this member also on this other side of the parapet beam or wall. So we go again and copy this point, copy this right now from this point down to this point first. Then we can now start applying measurement. Next thing we do right now, you can see that it's already flushing at this point. Then we have to also copy this point right now to flush it directly on this point, so we put it there. You can see that it's flushing. Then we extend this right here. We can now use since doing that this diameter is 10, so we have to use F, which is fillet, and then arrow, and then we have to fillet this place, which we have to use to 25, and then we fillet this point. It's too much, so we have to use um which is 10, and then let's go fillet this point, and also the same thing happens to this place. Here we have to fillet this point also, so we fillet this point also. The next thing we'll do right now is to also fillet this point right now. So by doing this right now, we will not have to bring back this bar into this fillet with, oh sorry, undo. We have to bring this bar right now into this fillet region. Okay, so you can now see what we have. The same thing goes for this right now. You can see what we have just got. Bring this down here to this flat region. We move it closer to this point. Okay, so I can see the fillet very well. So this is what we have got here, and this is what we have got here. So we can now start offsetting this by 200. So we go again on this area again by using construction line horizontal and picking up this point, picking this point right now, and then using offset 200, and then using this right now to do this and to do this, and then we will just have to copy this right now from the midpoint just here, and then paste it just like this, and paste it just here, so you cannot see what we have got. Like I always said, I would just say you should check the distance from this point to this point. Is 37, is very small, so you can just flush it right away down here. Okay, so make sure it's flushing. You can make sure it's flushing right here. So you can copy this right now and just paste it here. Okay, and then remove this just now, so you can now see what we have just achieved right now. So since the same thing that we have here is the same thing that we also have here, so before I apply my mirror, because I have to mirror what we have on this cantilever parapet, on this parapet wall right here to this place, because they are of the same wall thickness. They have the same thickness. This is 150 thickness, and you can see this also as 150 thickness. Okay, I'll just dimension this from this place right now, and matching the dimension properties of this to this, and then I'll just extend and bring a dimension to for more clarity. You can see what we have got right now. The next thing right now I'll do right now is to mirror this, but before I mirror that, I will have to first of all know the midpoint between this point to this point. So to do that, I'll quickly click on line, and then click on this point, click on this point, and click on this last axis. So if I click on this point right now, I will have to see my midpoint. You can see my midpoint right here. So I'll just quickly establish a vertical line here. So I'll quickly do XL vertical, and then do this, confirming again. So this point is my midpoint. So this is the point of my reference of which I will use to mirror this reinforcement detail at this end of this cantilever parapet to this end right here. So right now what I'll do is I'll remove all the reinforcement on this region. So I will now have to copy this from this point to this point, and then I will now have to apply my mirror MI, which is mirror, and then I'll press enter. Then I'll just go directly on this point, which is the midpoint which was established, and then go up, move my mouse upward. You can see that we have already have it here. You can see it here. If I move upward, we'll have it here. If I move downward, we have it here. So either you move downward and click, or move upward and click, and then you say no. This no simply means that you should not erase this. So you just say no, just copy. So immediately we now have this detail here, and we have this detail also here right now. So we'll now come to this point now and come and do some little adjustment by extending this, by clicking on this, and then okay, so we'll just do some little adjustment just now. Okay, so we go again to mirror this point. We didn't mirror here, we didn't mirror this, and which again we didn't mirror. Okay, just that two. So we go again to mirror these two right now. So we go and apply MI, enter, and pick on this point and click upward and say no. So you can now see what we have achieved right now. So the next thing right now do is to click on this point and then click on extend and extend this. And then also it's okay. Same thing happens here. This is okay. You can now see that this is okay. So looking at this right now, you can see what we have just achieved just now. You can see what we have achieved. So with this now, we can now remove this point right here. So we have removed this. So we have achieved this, and we have also achieved this right here. And also, if you can see inside there, you can see that this is also hashed. You can see that this hashed is a symbol of concrete, so showing that this slab has a concrete inside and also has a reinforcement detail inside. That is why it is called a reinforced concrete slab. Okay, so the next thing right now do right now is to start showing the number of this, is to start showing the size of this reinforcement and the bar marks. So the next thing I'll do is to go and change my layer to a leader line. So I'll just go quickly right now and click on leader, which is LQ, which is QL, and then I'll say enter. So I'll just quickly click on this right now. Either I click on this like this, or either I click on this and click on this first to call this reinforcement out, to call it out, and then click on this point. I can choose to stretch it out if it's too close. And then next thing I'll do right now is to copy this, is to copy, this is a top bar, and well, okay, this is just the place I established it. Okay, so I'll just quickly copy one of these. So okay, first of all, since we are done with this, we can now change the color of this back to our normal rebar color, and the color of this bar to back to our bar color. Okay, so the next thing right now I'll do right now is to copy this bar right here, this number of bars right here, this bar notation down to this place, down to this place. But on this place right now, I'll remove the number of the bar, I'll remove the number of the bar, remove this, and then this, remove this, leaving this, and then we can now see what we have just got. That means I'll really shift this up right now and then extend this right, just right now. Okay, so you can now see what I have just gotten right now. To me, this arrowhead is very small, so I'll quickly change this arrowhead by using D, enter, and let me see. They are using D. I'll use D50 and I'll say set correct and I'll say okay, and then I'll quickly do again a new leader. I'll quickly do a new leader. You can see that this is okay. So I'll quickly do this and then match properties and match it to this, and now remove this right now. Okay, so this is now visible and this is now okay. So this is what where we now have right now. Next thing again I'll do is to also call out this one. So I'll quickly just copy this right now, knowing that they have the same properties but although different bar mark. We will change the bar mark later. Or we now go over to this and then go over to this and then go over to this and then go over to this. Now I'll have to change the mirror because it's trying to clash with this line. So I'll just change this mirror. I'll mirror this right now. I'll flip it by using mirror. I can see that. At this point I'll say yes, change everything, and I'll just copy this right now and go over to this point right here. Okay, so this is what I just got right now. Next thing I do right now is to also do the same for here. So I'll quickly go on this right now, copy this, and then move from this point, then to this point, then to this point. Now on this point right now, I can see what is clashing right here. So what I'll do right here is to use a rectangle and then just create a little rectangle along this region where it is clashing, and then clicking on rectangle and then apply trim command to trim off this line at this point. And then I'll quickly stretch back this dimension dot that is showing here into this place. So you can now see into this place. Okay, so you can now see what we have. This is not given chance. There is no obstruction again for this test. Okay, I didn't do that here because I have a space to flip or to mirror back this text right here and this leader right here. Okay, so the next thing right now to do right now is to start putting the bar mark. Bar mark right here. This is bar mark one, and this bar mark one. This bar mark, this length of this bar mark is the same with this. So this is bar mark one and one, one and one, and this is bar mark. This will be mark two, and this is bar mark three. I would say you should watch my next video to know how to place this bar mark three, to know how to number a reinforcement with bar marks. Bar marks is when your reinforcements have the same size and the same shape. So when your reinforcement have the same size, the same shape, it is called a bar mark. So this should be bar mark five. Okay, so we are done with our top bar right now. There is no need for you to put top like this T and this bottom right here. There's no need for you to put top because we anyone looking at this drawing right now will know that this is a top and this is a bottom. So you just leave it this way. Next thing again we'll do is to do for the bottom bar. Now look at this bottom bar right now. This bottom bar is very long and you can see that it's running all the way from this point down to this point, which is not really okay because looking at these dimensions right here, you can see that this, if you add all these values together, they are already more than 12 millimeter, 12 12 meters. And knowing that the length of a full reinforcement is 12-meter maximum. So, but for detailing, I would advise you should use 11.5 meters. So what I'll do right now is I'll quickly establish a construction line vertical right here, changing the color. I don't want to use layer just to avoid confusion, and I will go by using the offset 11,500 millimeter, and then I'll quickly offset it to see. So this is where it stops, which shows that this will be the point at which I will have to cut the reinforcement because this is where the length of one full reinforcement is stopping. So I will have to cut it here and try to lap this one coming all the way into this place. So what I will do right now is I will have to offset my lap length, knowing that lap length is gotten by 50 times the size of the diameter. So I'll quickly use calculator right now. I say QC and say enter, and this pops up right away. Just now it pops up. I'll say 50 times the diameter of this bar is 10. So 50 times 10 is equals to 500. So my lap length for this right now becomes 500. So I'll quickly offset back 500. I will not offset forward because if I go forward right now, it will be 12 meters. Remember, I didn't we did an offset of 11,500 from this point to this point. So I will have to just offset backward just now. So right now, I will now have to cut this bar from this point. So I'll just use apply breakpoint. I'll quickly apply the break from this point down to this point right now. So you can now see that we have cut this reinforcement just here. So what I'll do right now is to apply this. I'll quickly, first of all, the next thing I'll do right now is to place another line right here, construction line right here, which is vertical right here. So when I've done that right now, the next thing I'll do right now is to this place this right now. You can see what I'm placing, and then I'll do this match properties, and then I will use click on this and use trim to trim off this point, and then this is the point of 500 where the lap length stops. I'll trim off this and then match properties immediately, and then do this, and then I remove this. So you can now see what we have got. We have now lapped this reinforcement upward down. So this reinforcement of this button runs all the way from this place 11.5 meters from this place down all the way down here. Reaching here, the whole length of reinforcement was exceeded. So we now have to bring out this reinforcement and lap it all the way down here. So we will now have to delete this and establish another one again to see which is vertical from this point, which is the point of our lapping, The point of our lapping is this point, okay? So from this point again, we establish this and change the color so that we will not be confused because we already have yellow as our grid line. So the next thing again is to offset again 11,500 to see where that will end. So you can see that it ends here. So the length of this is okay. So this is not more than 11,500 millimeter. So this is okay. So we don't have to cut again or lap our reinforcement again because from this point to this point is less than 11.5 meters, which is the total length of a full reinforcement from the manufacturer. So this is okay. So we will now have to start placing the button um, notation right now. So knowing that we will just have to mirror this right now. To mirror this right now, I will first of all have to get a midpoint on this place. So I'll quickly just do a midpoint for this place and mirror this, mirror, apply mirror, then use this as my reference point all the way, making my line straight all the way down here and say no. Then I'll click on this to delete this reference line and then I'll just move these points to these points. Okay, this is okay. So this is pointing right now on this dot, on this reinforcement right now. So the same thing. So by doing this right now, I'll quickly tell my viewer or the reader that this reinforcement from this point to this point where it is lapping is diameter 10 is diameter 10 high yield steel at bar mark 01 at spacing 200 millimeter. But this bar mark now we're going to change because it's not the same length with this. This is just from here to here, and this button is all the way down. So we have to check our last bar mark, which is 5. So we name this bar mark 6. So we name this now bar mark 6. And then we also copy this right now all the way from this point down to we this is still the same bar, so you don't paste it here, so all the way down to this new bar. Because of this slab length, now this is now a new bottom bar having different length but the same diameter. So since it's have different length, it is now called a new bar mark. So we just put here and change this bar mark to 7. Let me name this 7, and then we go again all the way down to this point right now to name this also. So we also name this. So we apply quick leader, which is leader, and then bring this out right now. Bringing this out right now, we can bring this out right now, and then copy this all the way down. I don't want to copy all these full listing details right now. Just do this right now. There is two ways you can choose to name it this way. You can choose to name it with the bar mark alone. So I can choose to remove this all right now with the spacing and just leave only the bar mark. After I'll now do a table of bar marks, telling them that this bar mark has a spacing of this, has a spacing of 200, and sorry, undo, has a spacing of 200 and then a size of 10 diameter. So you can see this is also another way if you don't have a space on this place where this whole test where we reach. So you just use bar mark to note it. So again, the next thing I'll do right now is to this bar mark stops at 7. So this will bar mark 8. This is Bamak 808. Automatically, this also becomes Bamak 8 because they are the same length. This one here also becomes Bamak 8. Let me show you this one. This one also becomes Bamak 8. This is one I'm talking about right now. So I'll quickly show it. Let me just stretch this out from this point so I can be able to show it all the way down. So I'll quickly do this right now and just say this and then copy this all the way down here right now. Copy this all the way down. You can choose to do this way. There's a clash at the up there, so I'll just bring it down to this point to avoid clash and then extend the shift this a bit and then bring this out a bit. Okay, so this is what I have now got. Next thing I'll do right now is to also number this also. So I'll quickly do bar mark and then QL. Do this right now. Copy this. This stops at 8, so this will now be 9 because they are not the same length of reinforcement. So this will be um 0, 9. The same thing goes or happens to this other side because since they have the same length and the same size, this also becomes bar mark. This also becomes, I'll just mirror this right away right just now by using the reference point here, saying yes. I would have said yes, so let me just delete this and then moving this from this point down to this point and then copying this all the way down here. Okay, so the next thing I'll do right now is to start numbering this bar mark here. So with this right now, we will use bar mark to number this right away. So I quickly copy this right now and then move this right now and move this all the way down here and then say bar 10. Okay, you can see what I've got. I can quickly choose to shift this a bit and then stretch this out to touch this point. And then, since they are the same reinforcement, this bar mark becomes this one now. Sorry, this one now becomes bar mark 10, and the same thing happens to this this can put it just here to this. The same thing happens to this and this and this. Let me check the size of this text font. If it's too big, I reduce it. Okay, so I will use 87.5 and now click enter. Okay, that's okay for me. So I can now match properties of that text, properties of this test down to this test that I can use to paste this all the way down here and all the way down here and all the way down here. Okay, so with this now, this also will change. I'll have to change all the bar mark or the text size to 87.5 and then pressing enter, and you can see that it is now becoming okay. We can now shift this back because we have used the text font and bring this back here, and then we'll shift this directly from the body of the object. Okay, this is now what we have. So the same thing happens here. We just reduce this by 87.5. We can just do this copy as a group, having ch and then changing this to 87.5 and pressing enter. You can see how good it is right now. It's okay. It's okay. This can printable can just shift this upward and then okay, that's okay. That's okay. Shift this upward and then also shift this backward. Okay, and shift this backward. Okay, that's okay. Okay, that's okay. Okay, now the next thing that is also change this depth. We didn't change this depth. Change this font height to 87.5 and pressing enter. And then we go again by clicking this point and then clicking this point right now and then this point right now. Okay, so right now you can see what we have got. The same thing that happens here also happens on the other direction. So just click on this right now, and then copy them and open my snap so that it will not snap the wrong place, and then pasting this just here and moving this back downward here. Okay, you can now see what we have just achieved just now. Okay, if you want a proper clarity, you can choose also to also delete this dimension if you want proper clarity. But I'll just say you should just leave it to also tell your reader so that you can know that this from this place to this place is 450 and the slab thickness is 150, or making this parapet wall to be 600. So you can just see what was that, and also showing that this thickness is 150. So I'll say you should leave it. The next thing right now to do right now is to place our button bar mark. So this is bar mark 11, mark 11. So just copy this and start pasting. Doesn't mean you should paste it directly. You can just be given gap and be pasting so that the reader can be able to know that your bar mark is bar mark 11. You can just see what I'm doing right now because we have already defined this one as bar mark 6 having a spacing of 200. So you can just do that by shifting these points and doing this just here, doing this just here. You can see what I'm doing right now. Okay, you can see what I'm doing right now. Okay, moving all this way down, moving all this way down and down and down, moving this way down, moving this way down, moving this down, all the way down. You can see what I'm doing right now. Okay, moving this and then moving, placing it here. There is no really a good sequence to place. This is just to tell your reader that this dotted main bar here has a bar mark of 11. So for you to know the properties, the length and the quantity of this bar mark, you should go and read the bar mark table of 11 to see the size and the quantity and the length of it too. So this is just how to show you right now. This is how to do it. I'll just press U and then paste it directly in this place. And then paste it here. And then the same thing goes here and here. And then I'll just paste the final one here. So you can just see what we have got. You can see that. Next thing again we'll do is to paste the bar mark for this top reinforcement, the main reinforcement. So this will mark 12. Okay, I will also copy this right now and start paste. Just paste here, and then I'll still paste here too. Okay, so you can also choose to we also paste this here and this here, and then we can paste this here, and also we paste this here because they have the same bar mark, and then we also paste this here and then here. Also we paste this here and here, and we paste this here and we paste this here. Also we paste at this point and at this point and at this point, and then we finally paste here and here and here. Okay, so you can now see how we have successfully done a proper detailing on of this slab, of this concrete slab right here. We have successfully detailed this section perfectly. You can see how we started from the beginning to all the way down. You can see it right here. You can see how we have successfully detailed this slab right here. So this is how to detail a concrete slab. This is how also to detail, to show a section detail of a concrete slab right here using AutoCAD 2023 and also a registered version. You can see that right now. Okay, so in my next video, I'll be showing you how to detail beam and how to arrange your structural drawing for a proper presentation. So I would say you should subscribe to my channel, Ekidel. Also like my video and turn on your notification. If you have not subscribed, I would say you should subscribe so that you don't miss our next video. And if you have any comment pertaining what we have done today, I would say you should leave the comments right there, and I'll reply you quickly. Okay, so thank you. And also, if you have any question on what you would like to ask, I will also say you should drop the comment right there on the comment section, and then we'll reply you quickly. Okay, so thank you, and God bless you.